Hey everybody, Steve Burns here. This is going to be a little bit more of an easier week for you, in that now that you understand 3D, we're going to learn how to import a 3D object created by a third-party program. So it's going to be an easier week in that you're going to pretty much use one product. You're going to create a brochure with that product or the front page of a brochure. And you want to represent that product in at least three different angles or three different ways. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of an example of what you're going to create, and this is just an idea of how you may create it, but I highly recommend that you go online. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and look at, let's say, brochure ideas. So go on and get ideas from the internet as to how you may like to create your particular brochure. All right, so there we are. So we can come through here. We can look at all different styles of designs, and don't copy them necessarily. I really would like to see you guys use your own imagination, but use them as an inspiration. Get some ideas. Get some ideas in terms of color, in terms of layout, in terms of maybe you want to take this wave type of a concept, and then create your own version of the wave, but designing it so that your product is being represented mostly. Okay, let's go over and let's let me see one. There's one right down here that look like an auto brochure. Here we go. Let's click on this one there, because that's kind of cool there. So look at these, get ideas. And I'm gonna come back over here and look at more options for those. Go look at some other examples. And your page is going to be an 8.5 by 11 or a 11 by 8.5. So in other words, you're going to decide, you're going to choose to work vertically or horizontally. So I'm going to give that choice to you. Now, the products you're going to use is going to be a 3D object. So in other words, you're going to is actually a very prominent or very common situation now that a client is going to hand you a 3D product or a 3D object that represents their 3D product. And they're going to want you to create a brochure from it. Maybe the front cover of the brochure, maybe they're going to have you do the entire brochure or the interior. That's the client's option. Now for your homework, I just want you to do the front cover of the brochure of a particular product, and that product is going to be a 3D object. So the scenario here is that a client hands you off a OBJ file or a 3ds file, which is 3D Studio Max, and you need to import that into Photoshop and actually design a brochure to represent that product from various different angles. All right, now where are you going to go to get the 3D object? Now I'm going to go right over here. This is one of them, TurboSquid. And TurboSquid has a lot of free 3D objects for you to download. Now, what I chose to do was to download this automobile here. In fact, there was another version. Let me go up here. Here we go. I liked this one, so I chose this one. So I'm going to target that one, and it's telling you what formats this is going to be in. Now, on the right-hand side, we have a 3D Studio Max, Cinema 4D. All of these are 3D objects. You can see Maya. What you want is OBJ. Okay, so OBJ is the JPEG of the 3D world. That seems to work very well. Photoshop reads it very well. 3D Studio Max can be read as well. And when we get into Photoshop, I'll give you an idea as to how to become more aware of what formats Photoshop will recognize. So, and what the TurboSquid will allow you to do is to look at several different versions. So it's all decked out and styled out inside. You can open it up and there's all types of detail. It's a really cool little concept, and a good practice for you guys to work with 3D objects within a brochure type of a situation. Okay. All right. So how about if we go jump into Photoshop,